Hi students, this video will explain how to apply for AARA at Miami State High School and applies to Year 11 and 12 students. First of all, to locate the AARA application, you simply need to go to the school website, drop down menu, support and resources, and then click on forms and documents. This screen will appear and then the AARA application is there. This is what the AARA application looks like. The first page is essentially a rundown of what AARA is. Okay. In terms of assessment in Year 11 and 12, if students need access arrangements or reasonable adjustments in order to allow them to complete assessment fairly, they need to apply for AARA. Now, AARA applies to applied subjects, essential subjects, general extension, short courses, and senior external exams. These are not to be confused with the exams that you complete at the end of term 4 in Year 12. These are a separate thing. Importantly, AARA does not apply to VET courses. Okay, so any certificate courses being run at the school, or you might be doing a school-based traineeship or apprenticeship, AARA does not apply to those. You simply need to approach the person who is providing that VET certificate course to ask for leeway regarding assessment if you need it. Eligibility for AARA. There are essentially three broad categories, being permanent, temporary and intermittent, and then a further four categories are broken up into cognitive, physical, sensory, social and emotional. You don't need to know which particular categories your AARA might fall under. This is a discussion that we will have. Students are not eligible for AARA on the following grounds. I won't read through all of these, but the two main ones that I get are IT issues. Okay, so if your laptop decides to crash or you lose your USB, unfortunately you're not eligible for AARA. The other common one we have, although it is getting a lot better, family holidays. AARA cannot be issued due to a family holiday, so please be aware of that. The second page lists different types of AARA. Now, this doesn't list every type of AARA, but it lists most of them. The most common ones that I give out are comparable assessments. So for example, if you miss an exam because you're ill, or it might be that you need an extension for an assignment for a particular reason. Usually you may have missed a week or two of school due to illness. There are a lot of reasons why you might be able to get AARA, and it's important that you come and speak to me about that. The third page outlines the application process. So I've split this up into two sections. The orange being Unit 1 and 2, formative assessment. So this is your Year 11 students. And Unit 3 and 4, summative assessment, is aimed at the Year 12 students. Although Year 12 students may be commencing Unit 3 in Term 4 of Year 11. Okay, so this applies to Unit 3 and 4. The process is similar. For Units 1 and 2, you simply discuss with your teacher whether you might need to access AARA. If so, then you come and see me, we talk about it, fill out the application form and you submit it along with supporting documentation. And then I make a decision on that and I'll notify yourself, your teachers and your heads of department. In terms of Unit 3 and 4, there's two different types of AARA. There's QCAA approved AARA and principal reported AARA. Now, principal reported AARA is decided by us, and this is what happens for Units 1 and 2 here. Everything is principal reported AARA in Unit 1 and 2. In Unit 3 and 4, however, there is also QCAA approved AARA. So, if a student is needing any of these AARA here, okay, so extra time, format of papers, assistance, assistive technology, a reader or a scribe, or potentially changing the venue of the exam, we need to apply to the QCAA in Brisbane to have that approved. All other AARA is principal reported AARA. Please be aware that comparable assessment and extensions are not applicable to summative external assessment. So this is the assessment that you complete at the end of Unit 4 in Year 12. You cannot complete a different exam on another day if you miss the exam, and you cannot get extensions for that particular external assessment as well. However, in Unit 3, for any summative assessment, you can get comparable assessment and extensions, obviously if you meet the criteria. With QCAA approved AARA, we submit the application to QCAA in Brisbane, await a response, and then I notify students, teachers and heads of department. The next page is the AARA application itself. It's reasonably straightforward: date, name and grade, and then list the subjects and the particular exam or assessment piece for each of those subjects, your teacher and your head of department. In terms of the categories, again, it doesn't matter if you're not sure which ones you fall under, because I will discuss that with you when you come and see me. An update has been the inclusion of COVID-19. If you miss any assessment because of COVID-19 reasons, you need to complete the Pandemic Exceptional Circumstances form, which will be another attachment on the school website. This is particularly important for students who might not be able to gain a medical report from a medical specialist because they're so busy at the moment. Down here it lists a student statement, so this is an opportunity for you to explain why you need AARA, what's happened and how it's impacted your ability to complete assessment. This is important if you're seeking AARA for a non-medical related reason that you cannot get supporting documentation for. The medical documentation, there is a generic medical report that you can provide to your doctor or your GP or your psychologist or whoever it is that you're seeing, and they can fill that one out. They don't have to, but we do need this information listed here. So some doctors are happy to fill out the proforma, others prefer to write their own letter, and they just make sure that they include this information. Down the bottom, simply need a signature from the student, parent, guardian, and then I will sign it also. The final page is the application outcome. So on this page, if you're applying for Unit 1 and 2 assessment, it will be detailed down here for the subject and the particular assessment piece and what AARA has been given. For Unit 3 and 4, if it's principal reported AARA, I will list it here. If you've applied for QCAA approved AARA, I will receive a letter from QCAA, which I will then provide to the student, teachers and heads of department. I just want to finish with 2 additional notes down the bottom here. It's the student's responsibility to liaise with their teacher to schedule an alternative day and time to complete assessment. Failure to do so may result in the student being graded with an E, not rated, or a 0, depending on the subject, and this will potentially impact your QCE eligibility. So if you are given a comparable assessment on another date, it's the student's responsibility to talk with the teacher to work out what day and what time that will be completed. The final point there is if a student receives AARA for Units 1 and 2, it won't automatically transition or apply to Units 3 and 4. So students will need to reapply for AARA for Units 3 and 4. So please come and see me regarding that too. So that's the AARA application itself. Please come and see me, phone, email, whatever means you can if you have any queries about the AARA process. It's not meant to be a difficult process, but a fair process for all students involved. Thank you.